Well friends, welcome back to the cabin. I guess you can see the bolts that I had to order because they weren't available anywhere around close by. When you get up to around 3/4 of an inch, I found some that were like 6 inches long, but I needed something more heavy duty and I needed them 10 inches long. And they actually consider that structural. So these were $30 a piece, or a total of $240 for the bolts. Then I got some nuts, lock washers, and regular fender type washers. Now, Patrick bought these, my son, and he didn't tell me what the total price was, but I imagine the fender washers, lock washers, and the nuts weren't cheap either. But this way I'll be able to pivot the solar array down there and kind of maximize what my energy input would be seasonally, you know, different times of the year, because the sun is really low on the horizon, just topping the trees back here behind me. So I'm going to have to angle up at probably right around 50 degrees, because it is your latitude plus 10 to 15 degrees for the wintertime, and in the summertime, since my latitude is about 35 degrees, I will probably be at around 20 in the summertime. So yeah, we've got 8 of these big honkers right here that we're going to be installing. And then I had the guys come out. I guess you've seen that video. If you haven't, we'll throw that up here at the end of unboxing a lot of that solar equipment out there, and just to get them, because those two fellows are going to help me. These are guys that I used to work with in the digital line crew with the telephone company, and everything is similar to what we used out in the field, with the exception of the solar panels, because the telephone company generated their own power.
Can I say this? Isn't it good to have friends?
It is really good.
Co-workers as friends are one thing, but friends as friends are friends for life.
Right. So if you don't have any, you need to go find some, because
yes, you do.
They're nice to have. Matter of fact, we got a friend coming up today, Jennifer's friend. Got a little treat for you. They are not only going to, they're going to wash the dogs, but then they're going to blow dry them with some sort of blower that this fellow's going to hook up to his truck. And then they're going to get what kind of facial?
Blueberry facials. And doggy blueberry facials.
Lipstick and eyelashes and all that good stuff. But have painted toenails, but Smokey says no. Dolly said she didn't care.
I know, she just looked over here like, what?
Okay, guys, I want you to look behind us right here. This is Tasha and Jason. You remember she came up and helped us with the holes on the solar panels the other day. That's her husband. And I want you to take a look at this rig that they have brought out here to do these dogs up right. They said that they've got 4 of them, and when you have that many, you don't want to pay 80 bucks a piece to have this done. So they have brought out the works here, and what they're fixing to do is go up to my sister's house, wash the dogs, then they're going to bring them back and do them up right. So y'all just hang in there. Well guys, I thought I would talk a little bit about the installation while they're up there washing those dogs of this solar array. Now, you've probably seen me putting this is roofing cement, or just basically tar, coating the bottom of those posts. Now, I may have some comments, you know, why did you use that on pressure treated wood? Well, number one is because I can. I'm teasing. It will help them to last longer, because if I can keep the water away from the pressure treated wood longer by using this, then that just makes them last that much longer. And the last thing that I want to do is be in there 15 years from now replacing those posts. So I'm hoping that this will do the trick. Now, I coated them about 8 inches up above the ground because of moisture at the ground level, and I also put the rocks in the bottom to drain. So hopefully, like I said, that this will protect those posts, and it will keep them from deteriorating even that much faster. I think the longevity of the pressure treated is like 15 years, maybe 20 years at tops. And I may be wrong, but I think that I read that somewhere before. But by adding this, you know, maybe I can hopefully double the length of that. So in my lifetime, I don't want to be out there replacing those. So what I've got here, all this material is to make one big long box, 30 feet long by 4.5 feet high. And by the time I run a double plate across the bottom and a double plate across the top, that will bring me out to 5 feet actually. And then what I will have is a 3-inch overhang from the panels to my framework, which will kind of hide the framework somewhat, with the exception of in between them, from the weather. I could have brought them out, could have brought the framework out flush with the panel that's going to sit up there, but I decided not to. I decided to let the frame hang over 6 inches like so, or the panels. That way, like I said, it will kind of hide my frame in behind it, and hopefully the framework will even last longer. It's going to run right at $1,100 by purchasing, you know, pressure treated material, and that's one reason I went ahead and coated the bottom, because it is quite expensive to do this. So on top of the cost of the solar array, we have an added cost to build a ground mount of about $1,100. We have to do everything ourselves basically, because this is a DIY, right? And when you're off grid, you don't have a lot of the amenities unless you create them. So that's what we're doing, is we're creating power. And the next thing on the list is water catchment. We will be catching rainwater off the roof, cycling that through a filter and using that in the cabin for bath water, washing clothes, and washing dishes, because I buy my drinking water. But yeah, that's going to be the next big project, probably starting next spring. Living out here is just a little bit different unless you pay to have, you know, they wanted $10,000 just to set a pole up here to provide me with electricity, plus the extra $150, $200 a month or whatever it is, you know, to pay for that power. And I said, you know, I could spend that $10,000 on a solar system and then not have to pay them $200 a month, so it could be quite a bit of savings. So with what we're putting in here, will basically, like I said, only provide the needs for the cabin, what I need on a daily basis, and the possibility that it might last for 2 or 3 days before the batteries, because I've only got 3 of them. But we started out with 3 to determine how many we're going to need winter and summer for the average use for the cabin, because we don't quite know yet how much sunlight is the energy that's going to create in the winter time. So this is kind of an experiment, but it is expandable for 3 more batteries. Now those 3 will provide me with quite a bit, but then like I said, without using the generator in the winter time, and if the ability of collecting the sun's energy, I'll have to determine if I'm going to have enough to where it will just keep rolling over every day. Now we do have 2 generators that we're going to station at the little mini hut up there that will be able to power up in the event that several days of overcast weather and you don't really have much sun. We may have to power those batteries up with a generator. But that's all part of living off grid, and that's a lot of the fun of it, is just you know, being active and being involved in everything as far as your life goes that you take for granted living in town by just going and being able to flip a switch. Of course you pay for that, right? But living out here, you have to create your own switch. So yeah, that's the reason for putting in all of this solar and doing the water catchment, so that we don't have to pay the utilities all the money that they require to do that for us. Now when Jennifer moves out here, she's got in mind on being on the grid, and she's also going to have a well drilled down there to have water. She will have to put a softening system, because most of the water that comes out of the ground here has a high sulfur and iron content. So she will have to put in a water softening system to break that up and make it, you know, drinkable and usable, because it will yellow like whites if you use it to wash with. But she plans on being on the grid, and then the homestead here will be off the grid. And you know, I wonder how those dogs are doing up there, because I don't hear any barking going on. Yes, good girl.
So there's that blueberry facial we was talking about. Y'all, it's nice to have friends who are pros. Hey Dolly, are you enjoying it? It's feeling good, isn't it? You all, Smoky jumped in the bathtub himself. He was ready to roll. Momo. You love it? Oh, Mo.
Thanks, buddy.
Momo, there's your facial. It's blueberries.
That's our dogs.
Momo, is it good? Did you like it? Yeah? You looking pretty. Yeah. Looks like she's smiling.
Well, I certainly was happy to get those bolts in the mail where I could get along with the solar project that we've got going on up here at the homestead, as well as wanting to thank Jason and Tasha for coming up here and treating those two dogs to such a special day. I tell you what, they're really spoiled, and you can tell it. They certainly enjoyed it. Friends, thanks so much for stopping by. We certainly do appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.